Well, good morning. It's Wednesday again. That means, what does it mean? It's time for 1 million cups. Woo! All right, so let's see. What do I normally ask? Oh, wait. Here's who's here for the first time? Many of you today. Many first-time people. Well, welcome. Let me give you an idea of how this whole 1 million cups things work. Every week we have two presenters. We split our 1 hour into two halves. Each presenter gets 6 minutes to give a presentation with some slides about what it is they do, how they go about doing it, and why they're awesome. And then we go into 20 minutes of Q&A where you, the audience, comes up with great questions for our fantastic presenters. So pretty clear, pretty simple. We like to keep it easy. Now, I'm just thinking, we always ask who's here for the first time. Who are our regulars? Who's here? They're regulars. Okay, keep those hands up. Who's been here just like maybe a couple of times? All right, I guess I did that the opposite way. Who's here like at least once a month? You guys are amazing. Thank you all for attending, everybody. Oh, come on, it's a cheap applause line. Please give it to me. All right, so enough of my yakking, time for presenters. All right, so we've got a really exciting day today because we've got both mobile stuff, which I'm really excited about, and basketball, which is just awesome. So two really awesome presentations. So to get it started, I want to introduce our first presenter, which is going to be Purk'd, Mr. Steve Gardner. This is really exciting. It's a social mobile app. It's about getting coupons, getting loyalty, connecting with your mobile customers. So fantastic stuff. Please welcome Steve Gardner from Purk'd.
All right, thank you, Mike. You guys hear me okay? Is that good? All right. So just wanted to, first of all, thank everyone over at 1 Million Cups, because this is a really cool deal. For any of you who've spent any time in other cities and kind of seen the entrepreneurial communities, Kansas City has got an amazing community, and what Kaufman does, what 1 Million Cups does, is a really big part of what's happening here. And so we're all very, very fortunate to have something like this around. I am tasked with 6 minutes of something I could talk for 6 years on. So we're going to kind of dive right into this thing. So Purk'd, aside from being a slight reference to Ashton Kutcher's Punk'd, which yes, we do get that on occasion, Purk'd is basically a social rewards company. And I'm going to kind of explain what that is here in just a second. But we are an app on your phone. Yes, I'm going to ask everybody to download it. We are in the App Store and on Google Play. So try to pay attention to me for a minute, and then you can download it. What we are, it's a mobile engagement platform, which is kind of a tricky way of saying social rewards. Like I said, iOS, Android, we've also got HTML5 as well. So we're going to really be kind of spanning the range. We're currently really set on Android. HTML5 is right behind it, and iOS, for those of you that have the iPhone, you can download it. It's still a little bit glitchy. We'll have that fixed very shortly. So what does app do? So if you are a customer and you download the app, what you're going to see is a list of merchants, and I know you can't really see that very well, but you're going to see a list of merchants in the area. It's all proximity based. As you take a look at it and you find someone that you're kind of interested in, you'll click on it, you'll see a little info on them, including location, phone number, all that good stuff. And then also a couple of offers that are being provided by that store. Those offers are completely controlled by the store. I should probably add very quickly that a big part of our genesis as a company was truly out of a deep sense of frustration with what Groupon was doing to small businesses. We felt like there had to be a better way, and we didn't really like what Groupon did. And we certainly felt like anyone that really understood how Groupon and the daily deals hurt small businesses, especially the mom and pops, they'd stop using them. So that's a little bit of a crusade, which I won't dive too deeply into. So I'll get back to this. So as a customer, you'll select an offer. You'll then have the opportunity to go into a store and redeem that offer. Very simple process. You hit redeem now, the store clicks it, and then this is going to pop back to your phone. It's going to give you an opportunity to rate the experience, rate your visit, rate the service, and a space for notes. This is something, they always talk about feedback as the breakfast of champions. Feedback pretty much doesn't exist with small businesses, and it's their lifeblood, it's what they need, but they don't get it. Anyone ever seen on your receipt the little survey at the bottom of it that says, please go home and fill out a survey to tell us what you thought of our place? Has anyone in this room ever filled one out? 5, 6. It's probably because you were really mad, right? Because that's the kind of feedback that stores typically get in that sort of situation. So what we've really developed here is it's an opportunity for the customers to just right there on your phone as you're checking out, say, hey, you know what, Vicky was really great. I loved working with her today. Or the bathrooms are dirty, or really like the food, or whatever. It's the feedback that's really important. This is a lot more than a feedback tool, though. For the store, this is really an internal incentive tool, because now they can actually rate their employees and they can actually see, oh, you know what, Vicky's doing awesome. She keeps getting 5 stars. But I'm saying Vicky, by the way, because Vicky and I went to high school and we've known each other for a while. So she's my little pet student for today. As Vicky is doing great and they see she keeps getting 5 stars, the customers love her, maybe John over here, and this isn't John, so just so it's clear. Maybe John over here is not doing so good, keeps getting 2 stars, and maybe you need to train John, maybe you need to fire John. There's a lot of things you can do, but it's really about having objective information about what's happening within your store. So it's a very cool little internal incentive tool. Again, they can also provide some little incentives, like whoever gets the highest customer service rating over the course of a month, you get $50 or whatever. So that is a really important piece of the process for us. And again, it's something that most small stores don't have and can't really afford. As you finish rating the experience, you then have the opportunity to choose another offer. Again, those offers controlled by the store, so they're going to determine what they do or don't want to promote. As you select that new offer, you then get the opportunity to share it out with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. We'll have other social media platforms coming up here before too long. But you get a chance to now share that. So really what that's doing is ultimately, as all of us walk into a store today, we walk in, we buy our thing, we walk out. Maybe if we're lucky, the person behind the register or the owner of the business recognized us because we're a regular. Maybe if you're really lucky, they knew your name, said, hey, Vicky, thanks for coming back. That's probably about as deep as it's really going to go, and you're now going to walk out. As a store owner, you don't know if that person really likes what you do or really hates you and is going to go out and tell all their friends how much they really dislike you. Whatever it is, what we're now really given the opportunity to happen is now someone walks into a store, they have an experience, they go, man, you know what, this is really pretty cool. I want to tell all my friends about this. And so now you get the chance to just let your friends know, hey, I just ate at this place and had a really cool experience. You guys ought to come in and take a look at it. And then they post it out to their hundreds of friends on Facebook or Twitter, and I know some people in this room have many thousands of friends. But they share that out, and now some of your friends are going to go, huh, that looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll go check it out. So one of the cool pieces of the technology that we've got, though, is actually in building customer loops, which I can talk more about later. But ultimately, the customer loop, now everyone within your loop that you have referred that has now come in and spent money with the business can actually, the more you share, the more you spend, the better offers you get. So that's where the loyalty comes in. So very quickly, we have a pretty basic revenue model. We charge the store somewhere between $75 to $95 a month. We do have other additional services and fees, which I won't go into today. From a status perspective, we are really just finishing up beta right now. We've actually got 67 signed contracts with stores, even as we're in beta, so we're sort of jumping out of the gate pretty fast. We are in pre-launch activity in northern Colorado, Fort Collins area. We've also got some preliminary work happening in Indianapolis, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City. So we expect to be a national brand over the course of the next 2 years. And like I said, that's where, I'm going to skip all that. Soft launch is September. Very quickly, because my time is up, follow me on LinkedIn, reach out, my info's up there. You can check us out on Twitter, it's @Purk'd. And Purk'd is the name, and also Facebook. You guys know the drill, so come find us out there in the wonderful world of social media. And with that, I'm going to take a breath, and now we'll open it up for these 7,400 different questions that are going to come up.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Question right here.
Thanks, Mike. Steve, could you go back and just talk a little bit about how you redeem the coupons? I'm trying to understand how the retailer controls, the coupons, and make sure they aren't scammed and all that.
Mm-hmm. Make sure they aren't scammed. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, in other words, like most paper coupons will say, one per purchase or something like that. How do you control that on your app?
So an individual customer, when you download the offer, it's going to drop into your Purk'd wallet. So when you walk into the store and you click redeem now, that's a specific offer that is being redeemed at that store. Which also, even if they've got 17 stores in the chain, you can be specific to location with specific offers. I can't really, I don't know how you would scam it. It's a pretty straightforward process. And once you use and all the offers, when they're in your wallet, they all expire. The store determines when they expire. So I don't think you can. I'm sure there's some very smart people in the room who know technology even better, who might be able to come up with a way, but I don't know of a way to do it.
Question for you back here.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I was wondering if you could go into a little bit more detail about, as a small business, why offering Purk'd is going to help me access my customers and help bring them back. I think you and I have spoke on the phone a couple times, so could you go into a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of different pieces to it. Basically, if you are a typical mom and pop store right now, odds are fairly decent. You know, when we go out there and we talk to all these stores, 90% of them probably don't have real sophisticated marketing techniques. Maybe they have an email list, maybe they don't. Maybe they've got a few followers on Twitter, maybe they got a Facebook page. So there's often there are very few ways for them to really capture that data very effectively. So for an individual store, you know, one big piece is customer walks in and they walk out, and as that transaction is done, now they're sharing it with a lot of their friends, which is not happening right now with pretty much any other tool. So that's a big piece. For the individual store to know who their big spenders are, who their best influencers are, is a very, very important piece. Because, you know, again, you have customers walk into the store, or someone walks in and they may say, "Man, love you guys, you're awesome," and they don't tell anybody when they walk out. And you got other customers who walk in and say nothing, and they walk out and they tell people. As a store owner, you have no clue who these people are. You don't know how to identify who the real influencers are. With the app, we actually give you a tool to do that. So now you can identify this person actually goes out and they refer all their friends, and their friends like them enough that they want to go do the same thing, so they come into my store and spend money, and now you can reward the right people in the right way in the right time. Does that make sense?
So over here on your right, I've got a question more about kind of what led up to this. So I want to hear a little bit more about what have you been doing? How did you get to coming up with this idea? What's your kind of your background? And then also talk a little bit about I don't know if you're a developer, or how did you get it built is the question. So how did you actually get to where you are now? I see the problem that you're trying to solve, but tell us a story of how you got here.
Okay, once upon a time. Yes. Is that good? Good start. No, actually, Christian Corley, who was sitting right over here, Christian called me up about a year ago and literally just said, "Hey, Steve, I've got this idea. I am not a tech guy, I am not a developer, I'm a sales guy, so you can only believe about half of what I say." But as Christian sort of laid out this idea, it sounded pretty cool, and we just continued the conversation. A couple months after that, we started having conversations with a couple developers. We landed with someone back in January, and so we've really been on the development path for the last several months, and we're just about there. We're just about there. I kind of liken it to, it's like we know, we're prepared, we've asked a girl out, we're going to the dance, we just aren't dressed and cleaned up yet, but we're almost with it. We're almost there. We've got our plans really close, so it's all good. Does that help? I'm keeping these very, very short. I'm normally extremely verbose and chatty, so pardon me. Any other questions?
Question for you over here on the left.
Yes.
Having worked at a restaurant that had the little survey at the bottom, I know how easy it is to sabotage someone because you're unhappy with one incident. And so that's where my concern comes in, is that it's so easy to give negative feedback, yet so few people give positive feedback. And I essentially don't want someone to get fired because they had one bad day.
So thank you for asking that question. It's almost like I planted her. I didn't. It's almost like I did, because that's a really key point. When you're looking at the customer feedback, very, very critical difference with what we're doing. This is not Yelp. We're not in the public domain. So this is purely an internal tool. Now, I can't guarantee that any specific store owner would see one piece of bad feedback and say, "You're fired," because it's going to happen. Can't control that, but we do think that this at least provides a tool where they're going to see consistent feedback over time, and they'll be able to make reasonable estimates. Where normally, maybe they don't hear any of the good stuff, and it's only, oh man, this person, they've had 2 different people come in and say they were horrible and they did a terrible job and spilled their food all over me. They may only hear that and go, well, man, we got to fire them. And they may not hear the 17 people who said good stuff. Because it's right there and it's easy, I'm not going to say everybody will fill it out and it'll be all puppies and rainbows, but you'll at least get the opportunity to see a pattern get established for how people are actually doing. And ultimately, if you got a new employee, you got to train them up and you got to get them there. And to me, the real point is about getting people trained, because if you see the same problems are happening over and over again, well, that's a training moment, isn't it? Hopefully it's not a firing moment. Hopefully it's a training moment. So they just say, you know what, Jim needs a little help with this. Does that help? Does that answer it? Yeah.
Next question up front.
Yes.
In this day and age, consumers are bombarded with information. Let's just say consumers driving down Main Street and the push notifications are coming through. Of course, we don't want them to shut off the notifications because it's too much. Are there preferences so women can choose that they want nail salons and boutiques and men can do other different preferences?
You mean men wouldn't want nail salons?
Probably not.
So basically, we don't do push alerts. So you're not getting those annoying notifications. We've seen a lot of other apps that are sort of in the loyalty space that do that. And I've deleted stuff because I'm like, ugh, I don't need 17 alerts about stuff going on. The way it's designed, literally, you would just say, you're here and you're going, you know what, it's lunchtime, or I need to go find a salon. You just pull it up, what's around the area. And so you just see a list of stores right there, and then you choose one, you'd get an offer, and then you go redeem it. So we're not fans of the push alerts. But yeah.
Question for you back here.
Yes.
So although most small businesses probably don't have mechanisms in place, there's quite a few competitors that are kind of nibbling at different ends of this space. What's your sense for the competitive landscape, and kind of how do you see yourself positioning and maneuvering in what's becoming pretty dense?
I would agree. It's getting more and more dense. When I take a look at the landscape of everything that's out there, and you guys, I know you know me really well at this point, but I hate the word unique, and so I always really hesitate to say that. But I will say that we have not found anybody else that offers the breadth of offerings that we do. Because we've got the customer feedback piece, because we do the offers, because we've got the loyalty, because we're helping you identify your key influencers. I haven't even really touched on the analytics, but there's heavy-duty analytics behind it, so we're really helping the store get information that they're not being provided. I literally could go, point counterpoint with all kinds of different apps out there, and there are a lot of them. Most of them, like 90 to 95% of the ones that I've seen, tend to focus in one specific area. So it's really primarily about customer acquisition, or maybe customer engagement, or couponing them to death, or whatever, where we're really providing a pretty robust, full offering that we haven't seen it anywhere else. I won't say nobody else is doing it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, I have another question here on your right.
Yes.
So I like telling stories. So I like how you got to where you are, and you've talked about this MVP or beta version that you're going to be launching with. You've got a lot of stores on your platform, but you've kind of got what I even heard somebody earlier saying, the chicken and the egg syndrome. So I'd love to hear how you, sales guy, position the fact that you're selling someone to spend $70, $90, almost $100 a month with you. But hopefully they're spending that money because they're assuming there's people using the app.
On the other end, yeah.
So tell me about how you're marketing the app itself, because you've got 2 different customer groups.
Absolutely. So first of all, I would like everyone in this room to download the app very quickly. Now, basically, we've got a number of different strategies. One of them, as far as the individual store is concerned, they'll have in-store marketing materials, all that kind of stuff. So as customers walk in, yes, we're going to train the staff, which is a differentiator, going back to your question on some of our competitors. We do actually train the staff and work with them so that they're actually figuring out how to use Purk'd more effectively. There's going to be that piece of it. We as a company, obviously, having the number of stores that we do right now, that's a lot of people, and that starts to get the customer downloads moving pretty fast. A really important piece to what we're doing is the nonprofit side. We're really, really passionate about getting nonprofits more engaged in the business community. 2 things are true about basically every nonprofit I've ever come across, almost. One of them, very passionate people who love what they're doing, and they're terrible at fundraising. And so we really want to make this a tool. And so one of the examples would be, you know, a store says, you know what, we're really struggling on Mondays, we need more business on Monday, or we have a specific product line that we're trying to move. We would then identify a nonprofit. Maybe it's one that the store has already worked with in the past. If so, that's great. If not, we literally have hundreds of nonprofits kind of lined up who would be happy to help with this. So we'll go to the nonprofit and say, hey, please tell all of your people, your fans, your followers who love you and adore you and will do anything that they can to support you, go into this store on Monday, and, you know, X% of the proceeds will then be kicked back as a donation to the nonprofit. So, you know, there's other pieces to that. We'd like the nonprofit to get engaged, like maybe they have a kiosk in the store on that day so they can share more about what they're doing. Maybe they have a 5K coming up and they get to go recruit the staff members at the restaurant or at the retail store. You got a lot of different integration points there, but the nonprofit will drive a lot of app downloads. We've got other technology solutions to that, which I won't dive into because I'm not the tech guy. But we have a lot of pretty sophisticated marketing efforts and ventures that are underway, and that's kind of something we know how to do. So I think we'll be all right on that front.
Next question in the middle.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a silly question, but how did you decide to spell it P-U-R-K instead?
Oh, that's a silly question.
I know.
In all honesty, I don't know how much time you've ever spent trying to name something, but oh, it sucks. Because you go through about 75 different iterations and you're trying all sorts of things. And then you have to figure out, well, what about, can we patent it? Can we trademark it? Who already owns the freaking URL? I mean, you got to jump through all those hoops. The original name of the company was Deal Loop. And then we wound up through a variety of discussions, and Andy Miller, our CEO, had a little input on it as well. But we wound up landing on that, and truly the Ashton Kutcher punked thing was a part of that conversation, and it was kind of an inside joke. So it's a silly answer, I know, but that's all I got.
Come on, don't be shy. We've got time for a couple more. There we go.
I actually don't know much about Groupon, and you mentioned that they are hurting small businesses. So what are they doing that's hurting small businesses, and how are you different?
No repeat business. It just doesn't happen. And it's driving unprofitable business. And so if you think about it's driving unprofitable business that doesn't repeat, that's not a good recipe. So you don't really want unloyal customers. And what Groupon did a fabulous job of is training their customers. Because as a customer, now you wait for the next Groupon. You don't go back. I mean, my wife and I have used to use them. And we've been to restaurants that we will never go to again, not because they're bad restaurants, but because we got a Groupon, and so we drove an extra 15, 20 minutes out of our way. But it's out of our way. We're not going to go back. And then you just sit there and you just wait for the next Groupon. So it's not creating repeatable, sustainable, profitable business for the small business. And there's a lot more to that, but I'll stop there. I don't want to get sued. There's no Groupon people here, right? Yes? Maybe I should have asked that first. I don't know.
Question right here.
Yes.
So you've talked about the mom and pop. Is your intent to target that market? Are you avoiding chain or national stores? Or is that just where you're starting to begin with?
So from a sales strategy perspective, the mom and pops is where we want to play. I won't say we'll never touch anybody that's big. I mean, we've had a lot of people come to us that have 30, 50, 100, 500 stores that have expressed a great deal of interest in doing something. You know, for our model, we are a service-based company as well as a sales company, as opposed to, we're not a technology company. That just happens to be our product. There's a lot of other issues, and I would also add it's a much longer sales cycle. So we'll address those on a case-by-case basis. But right now, we love the mom and pops. We love hitting those, and there's plenty of opportunities out there.
All right, Steve, we've almost wrapped you up here. One last question.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're proximity-based. How do you come up with what the trade area is for that store?
With what I'm sorry?
The trade area is. So for instance, I'm in Brookside and I want to go for lunch someplace. Is that a 1 mile radius? Is that a 3 mile radius, 500 feet?
Yeah, so that's a part of your profile that you can set. I think what's the default on it? Isn't it like 100 miles or? Yeah, I think the default on it is 100 miles. So anything within 100 miles will show up. And so then you'll just scroll through. The thing on top will be the closest. And then you'll just keep scrolling and you'll find stuff. It's also searchable. There's 75 other aspects of this that I didn't get into, but that's what I got.
All right, Steve, to wrap it up, other than downloading the app, what can we, this room full of 200 some odd people, do for you to help get the word out for Purk'd?
We're in kind of a neat place right now in that we've got what we think is a pretty cool, category-defining app that's going to do some pretty good things. And what we need most, strategic partners. And that can mean a lot of different things. It can mean strategic money. It can mean strategic, just marketing strategic partners. There's a lot of different avenues that we can go down there. Certainly, social media strategists, those are always good folks to talk to. We have a sales team, we have a sales strategy. We're a sales and marketing company. And so we bring that strength to the table. We need a little bit of help on that side. But I mean, love to get merchants on board, anybody that has a store or multiple stores that has an interest in it. I would love to talk to them. Anybody that wants to be a part of something cool. We're pretty excited about this company, and we think we've got big plans to be in thousands and thousands of merchants over the next 24 months. And people that are interested in being a part of that, whether it's sales or marketing or service or IT, whatever, we're definitely open to those conversations as well. So did I miss anything? I'm not fired.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for Steve and Purk'd.
Thank you.
Okay, so here in the middle, anybody that's standing in the back, there's a whole bunch of seats up here that are empty, so this is your time to come on up, grab a seat. Please, please, please come up and grab a seat so we can clear away from the caffeine and let people get some more coffee. Okay, so a few announcements this morning. I've got Ben with Mighty Handle, has a quick announcement. And just FYI, Mighty Handle is up in 2 weeks, I think, to be a 1 Million Cups presentation. So they're coming soon, but we want to give them a little prequel here.
Hey guys, my name is Ben Rendo. This is my product, the Mighty Handle. I came up with the idea for the product a few years back when my wife and I were living in a walk-up apartment downtown. We would go grocery shopping for the week and then get home. I would then try to stagger the bags up and down my forearms or try to crab claw everything and lug the groceries inside. And by the time I got to the front door, just my hands, fingers, and forearms would just be burning and red from the bag loops cutting into my skin. And so I thought there had to be a better way. And so that's how I went about developing Mighty Handle. This past year, I have quit my day job, emptied my 401k, and downsized to a smaller house, all with the hopes of launching Mighty Handle into a national big box retailer. Well, as of last week, Mighty Handle has been selected as one of the finalists for Walmart's Get on the Shelf contest. Get on the Shelf is a yearly contest for entrepreneurs like all of you and small businesses to submit a video pitch of their product to Walmart headquarters for a chance to get national placement. Walmart will then put the finalists on the website, which is getontheshelf.walmart.com, and then viewers can go online and vote daily for the products they want to see. And while Mighty Handle has been selected as one of the finalists in the kitchen gadget category, and so I'm here to ask you today to please, please, please go to getontheshelf.walmart.com and show some love for a Kansas City-made, Kansas City-born company. All of our manufacturing is done right here in Kansas City. And please help me show that great consumer products can come out of the heartland. And so that's all I have. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, definitely go and support them. They're really excited. Melissa with Women in Tech, real quick.
Hi guys, sorry I had to drop my computer to get up here. Wanted to let everyone know about a new monthly networking event that's going to be co-hosted by the Kansas City Women in Tech group and also the Women in STEM. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Think Big Partners is the first in a monthly series called Tech Talks, where we'll be discussing women getting into careers in tech and STEM. So I hope to see a lot of you there.
Okay, and then one other quick announcement is that for the Mayor's blog, the Ideas Fair launching October 26th. For more information on that, and I know we had someone who was going to give a little bit of information, so I don't have as much, but definitely go to kcmayor.org/ideasfair for more information. We want to support what they're doing. And then Cameron has a couple announcements as well.
Sorry, I've got my weekly Kaufman announcements here. You can kind of see a few things that we're doing up here, scrolling on the screen for more info. The first thing, or the next thing on the list is next Tuesday, we are going to have Slava Rubin. He is the CEO of Indiegogo, the crowdfunding platform. He's going to be here for lunch from noon to 1. The event is completely full, but if you want to watch the live stream, we will be live streaming it. Go to the Kaufman.org website, and you can find the URL. It should be there in a press release. So again, next Tuesday, 12 to 1, Slava Rubin, the CEO of Indiegogo. Watch us on the live stream. Friday night, we have this event coming up, the Raspberry Pi Roadshow. For those of you who don't know, Raspberry Pi is a $35 tiny computer that is about the size of a credit card. And one of the engineers and inventors of it, a guy named Rob Bishop from the UK, is going to be here talking about Raspberry Pi, what it means, how he designed it, why he designed it the way that he did, and we're also going to have some local makers come and talk about how they've used Raspberry Pi to do various things. It's going to be at Union Station. Please sign up. We need to have a count for food and drinks and stuff like that. And we hope to see you Friday night. We have plenty of spots available for that. I think it'll be a really cool event, particularly for the maker crowd. The next thing I don't want to say too much about, is an event that we're planning now to do during Global Entrepreneurship Week, which will be the week before Thanksgiving. It's an event called Get in the Ring. And yes, there's a boxing theme associated with it. This is an event that actually started in the Netherlands about 4 years ago, and the United States has never participated. There's about 30 countries involved this year, so we are currently taking applications to essentially have the Global Startup Clash, and we are going to bring 8 finalists here to Kansas City. The applications are open until September 3rd. To duke it out, to literally battle it out in front of a panel of very high-level judges, which I think are going to be announced later today. And the winner of that competition, of those 8, literally gets on a plane the next day and flies to Rotterdam in the Netherlands to compete against the rest of the world, to represent the United States on the global level. So it's going to be a really cool event, and it'll be our first time to participate as the United States and host it here at the Kauffman Foundation. So you have until September 3rd to apply, and keep watching the Kauffman website and Twitter. We'll have more information coming out about that. Should be a really cool event on Monday, November 18th. I think that's it.
So real quick, I want to say a big thank you again. I don't give them enough credit, but Kauffman Foundation is such a huge gift to this community. Not only are they bringing so many things into Kansas City, but giving us exposure to those things here in the Midwest is awesome. The space is, of course, amazing. Who was able to go to the TED event last night? Yeah, I mean, huge sponsorship there. So, I mean, they're really giving us an opportunity to do some amazing things in Kansas City. So, as much as possible, let's give them a round of applause real quick. Okay. So, let's get back to the presentations. U-Hoops. So we had a chance when this application came in to look at this, and as soon as we saw who was on the team that was making it, as well as what they were trying to do, we got really excited. So for different sports fanatics and people that played sports in either high school or college and things like that, there is this really big struggle of figuring out how does an athlete from a very young age all the way up get in front of the right people to make their career in athletics actually take off. So specifically in basketball, this is where they're trying to really solve a big problem. So I want to welcome DeMarcus, Craig, and Ezzy from U-Hoops. Thanks, guys.
Hello, guys. Good morning. Hi, my name is DeMarcus Weeks. I'm the founder of U-Hoops, and here I just currently finished playing in Barcelona, Spain. And so what is U-Hoops? U-Hoops is a platform for international players from around the world, well as in the States, where they come on our website and where they can create a profile of resume, blogging, and have an ability to connect straight to the source of overseas teams. And so what I did is created pretty much created a network where agents, scouts, and all basketball can be in one format. And so we've been around 10 months, and as of now, we have 18,000 active members on our website. And as in March, we had 500. So right now, we pretty much passed our goal of active members that we wanted to have. And basketball is a $1 billion industry. It's second to soccer. Go KC Sporting, if you're not a soccer fan in here. KC Sporting. 11% of the world play basketball, and as of today, basketball has surpassed football. And only 3% of college basketball players actually get picked up to the NBA, which meaning out of 150 guys that actually participate at the NBA draft combine, only 60 guys actually make it. So where do the other 97% go?
Basically, they go to U-Hoops. I'm sorry. Basically, they come to U-Hoops, and basically what U-Hoops does is we're like, if LinkedIn and basketball had a baby, you'll have U-Hoops. You know, like he said, we have trainers, we have players, we have what am I looking for? Distributors as well on our site. This right here, just in just the first 3 months of U-Hoops being open, we've already had players go to China and Mexico, and a couple players actually were signed right on the spot. Let me go to the next slide. And yeah, these are just a couple more features. U-Hoops is just a network where we're cultivating our players to go from just not really knowing where they want to go, of not being a part of that 3% that gets drafted to the NBA, and actually giving them a pathway to their career. And this is us. U-Hoops is on the left-hand side, and this is us playing against China's national team. And this right here is just this past just last month. We took a group of 11 players from Kansas City, and we took them down to LA, and they played in the Summer Pro League. At that Summer Pro League, they were able to hang out with players such as Ron Artest, and a couple of them actually went down to Vegas as well and checked out the NBA Summer League as well. So, I mean, we have great traction. We're just in the 11th month that we've been open. So this right here is just the platform or the launch or the beta site of U-Hoops. We went with basically the user-friendly, what our players are familiar with as far as with Facebook, social networks, and things like that. So from there, as you can see just right here, we have active players. They're actually able to see the different tours and camps that we have come along too as well in our newsletter. It's really basic, straightforward, just to let these guys know, hey, come build your profile. You're able to interact with each player. You're able to interact with trainers, and you're able to take advantage of these different opportunities that we have for our players. And just as an example, just 2:30 last night, we have people logging onto our site just from Australia to China, to Mexico, to the Philippines, and of course the United States as well, because that's the main thing, is we want to be that bridge to help our players get overseas to where those other opportunities are.
Competitors. The competitors are Eurobasket. With this site is, I mean, basically came up with a story of how we came about U-Hoops. I actually play professional. And I actually was on U-Hoops probably about 2 years ago, and I found a problem with their particular site. I really couldn't really connect. And when I'm out and I'm really, trying to emphasize expanding my career, I'm all about connecting and networking. And I noticed like how Eurobasket has these functionalities on their site or whatnot where I can't really connect to the source. They have emails and people that I contact, but not really interacting. I mean, we live in 2013. Social media is really huge, and I don't see why, far as we, basketball being one of the second to soccer, around the world. And with Athlete and Auction, where, our competitors, they have, when guys actually sign up on the site and if someone get picked up, they get a percentage of that particular player country. And the problem with that being said is each country or each team has a distribute of how much they particularly want to play that particular player, which it will not be favored to that particular player because if they take a lump sum of percentage from these people. Court size really not efficient as far as networking and connecting. Kind of got the same tools as Eurobasket, and the thing was that Eurobasket is the only way of communicating and finding information for camps and things such as that nature. And what we're trying to do is really bridge the gap in having frequently and more consistent active communication with players and being able to find opportunities throughout basketball. And
we don't even want to talk about Pro World. Yeah, they haven't updated their site since 2010. So, I mean, we're just really, like we said, we're trying to take it to the next technology level. Social media, Facebook has taken over, and so we're going into a real niche. And with this, we feel like we can spread this amongst, or just across all sports. Soccer, like he said, will probably be like the next thing that go from there. So it's pretty much like it's somewhat of a game changer, you know.
Potential.
Rubbish. Did somebody say rubbish?
So, a lot of people don't realize that of all of the NBA players, of all of the high school players, of all of the college players, only 60 players from US, from across the world, make it into the NBA every year. Less than what's on the active roster of one football team make it into the entire NBA. So then what happens to all of those players? Well, there's a saying that says, you play to win the game. Herm Edwards actually said, hopefully, we hold them okay now. It's all right. We've moved on. But what UHoops is doing and what this team is doing is really creating a second market for professional sports. So it's not just about a product connecting one person to another person. A lot of those sites, DeMarcus was being nice, the links don't even work. The blogs don't work. They haven't been updated since 2010. You basically create a profile and cross your fingers. And you're going to be crossing them for a long time because no one's going to call you. And I think DeMarcus is a testament to that. It took him a year to get any traction, and that's because he went out and did it himself. So essentially what he did is he created his own tools and then used those tools to play professionally. And he got himself in the Memphis Grizzlies camps. He got himself playing for Spain because the proactive problem-solving approach that is required to make it into the NBA, into a lot of those positions, just doesn't exist otherwise. So as you can see, what they're trying to do is integrate in a lot more features so that way, the guys have educational components. They also have, the ability to interact with themselves, agents, and players, and just add a lot more functionality. There'll be features in addition, and I'm just a guy in the crowd, so I don't really know anything, But the one thing, thank you. The one thing I would say is that a lot of times you have people who play at a professional level, and those people are held up here, and everyone else who's playing a game at a high level, they're playing. At some point, the thought crosses their mind, could I advance to the next level? Unfortunately, the odds are stacked against them. They understand that, and so they move on to something else. They move on to a career where they're making $20,000.
And speaking of moving on, I'm sorry, but we are out of time.
That's right.
We are like totally out of time. But I mean, the next slide is pretty much just gonna be whatever question you guys have of us. So I mean, just throw them at us and we'll be happy to answer.
All right, let's open up for question. Great job, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Questions.
We have a question over here to your right first.
Yes, I have two questions actually. One, do you only represent male athletes at the college level, and how young can they start?
Great question. With our first site, we did just go for males, and they were after college, after they played college, specifically because those were the connections that we had. But throughout time, we have been able to just spread open our network. We have a partnership in the works right now with Scouting for You, who's going to provide over 200 clubs to our site. So then that way we're able to open it up to now high school players and also women players as well.
Okay, question up here in the front.
I see that you guys say you have like website sponsored and stuff like that, but how do you guys reach out other than online? Do you guys like go to colleges or something like that?
We travel. Like we said, DeMarcus, he went down to the NBA Summer League, and he went down there and he networked with Derrick Rose, just a bunch of, not a bunch, but a lot of new connections and things like that. And we also have camps and tours that we put on for our players. So with those camps and tours, the moment we touch down, people are like, "What's U-Hoops? What can we do? How can we get involved and engaged?" And we just go ahead and take advantage from there.
And I'm just an advisor here. But one of the things that I found really innovative is that the basketball community is really tightly knit, much like the entrepreneurial community. And so it's all about creating the strong brand for success. So with the tours that they've been doing to China, the relationships they have coming up with the Philippines, Australia, those national venues, they do the promoting for them. So people come to them, because they know that they're doing something positive. And that partially is the marketing strategy, is creating that strong brand through doing those tours and through doing strong camps. And then the players, like the 24,000 that found them with virtually no advertising or marketing, they found them because they heard about U-Hoops from their coaches, from the players, from the camps who've been rating them as well. So.
Question for you right here.
All right, so I didn't see anything on there, maybe I missed it, but stats, where are the stats and how do you prove those stats? I'm 5'6", I could say I'm 6'5", my vert is 25 feet.
Actually, they have once you create your profile, and that's why it's so critical that you have your videos and information up, because Scouting for You, who we in development of partnership, will have already stats on these particular players. Because if they play in college basketball and they've been in a database, we will have that already generated for scouts and overseas people to see them.
And to add on top of that, with all of our camps, we actually measure each player. We go ahead and we go through a full pro amp with them. So we see how fast they can run with a BAM testing. We see how high they can jump and things like that. And then they get a certified profile. So then when those coaches or trainers view those profiles, they're like, all right, so they actually seen that guy in person. We can actually move forward with him. So, for the player, it's even more imperative that you get involved with all of our camps and tours and things like that, so you can have that verified profile so that they'll know that your stats are true.
Okay, a question here in the middle.
So a friend of mine has a son who plays basketball, and he created a video to try and find a place for him to play at the college level, actually. Is that something you guys are thinking about? He was looking for a place for his son to get a scholarship so he could go to college.
Most definitely. With U-Hoops 2.0, we will be starting from, high school? High school players. So like we said, this is like the LinkedIn for basketball players. They go on there and they submit their resume and they build it up as they get their experience. So then the coaches who can't fly out to wherever they may be can see that virally, okay, this kid has been working since day one on how to do it. So yes, he's more than welcome to come onto our site.
Question for you right here.
So I have two questions. My 7-year-old is looking to play club. Can you get something started for him, or?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just kidding. He plays football. He is.
Right.
He's got my vert. So I'm wondering, you charge a membership fee on the player side, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering, do you guarantee them any sort of results that, they're gonna be, their information is gonna go in front of this amount of people, or, how do you kind of talk them into that, or do you have anything that you say that, you're guaranteed that you're gonna get in front of this many
teams that are looking? And also, do you plan on sticking with basketball? Is there any talk, because basketball is what you know, is there any talk of like you goals where you're gonna look into, you know, soccer? I really feel like this is a great idea moving forward. Maybe that's something you might think about branching out into, you know, because soccer is one of the top sports.
And I'd answer
and
that.
one of the best ones. Like, I'm just saying.
I like soccer myself. Absolutely. And so when I first got engaged with these guys, that was one of the first questions I asked them. And they actually have more connections on the soccer side than they do on the basketball side, as hard as that may be to believe. So that's going to be the natural progression. As far as the revenue, the revenue model and the guarantee, it's almost like LinkedIn in that you pay for a LinkedIn Plus account more for the options it provides you than being guaranteed that you'll be able to connect with the vice president of Cisco Foods or something like that. So it provides the tools, and the dollars provide them the ability to reach to agents and to teams and to scouts across the world, both in the minor, the equivalent of the minor league and the professional development leagues for the NBA, as well as foreign teams, all in one place. And right now, there's a mindset among guys who play basketball who've been coached their entire life, to follow orders, that you have to have the tool put in front of you, and then you can use it to your utmost ability. But that kind of proactivity has kind of been coached out of a lot of kids. And so we're providing the tools to allow them to be proactive.
Great. Next question to your right here.
I like your guys' approach to ensuring results. How interested are these agents and people in using this new technology to kind of find new recruits?
The thing about U-Hoops is it's not only just for players, but like we have agents who looking to jump into the basketball market, which allows new agents to connect with new players, and both of them can correlate with one another to fulfill their careers. Because right now, we went to NBA Summer League and met a kid who's he's in his final year and he's trying to build his brand as far as being an agent. And I told him about U-Hoops, and right now he's actually supposed to come down and meet with us and connect with some of the people that we already affiliated. So it's not only just for players, but for thriving careers who trying to break into the market. Because I mean, it's all about networking, and that's what we're trying to really implement as far as on a platform, not just for basketball players, but scouts, coaches, and along that screen of line.
And the other way it benefits agents and scouts is us building up such a large membership and a database of players. It ends up making cost efficient and saves time for scouts and agents to see what the talent is in the basketball landscape right now without having to travel to other states to scope out a player or in those regards.
A question here in the middle.
So given the number of 18,000 members, it would seem that you would have $2.1 more or less million at this point. I see smiles, so it might not be true. What sort of success have you had in actually procuring those funds?
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm still a cafeteria guy at Pembroke Hills, so we do not have $2 million at all. But our launch, we made the site free. We made the site free because what we wanted was a proof of concept. Walking into this, a player is going to be like, oh, I got to pay about $200, and I really don't even know how this is going to go. So we made it totally free. Those 18,000 are totally free sites. When we launch, we're going to allow those same people to have memberships for another year, and then from that point on, they'll have to pay from there. So that's so right now what we have is viral traction. We've been mentioned in Dime magazine. We've had let's see what's some other stuff that we've done. We've had a guy on our site right now that just from a video that he posted, he was featured on a LeBron James commercial. Like it's just stuff that falls in our laps as far as what's getting us or getting our players or getting these members who want to actually come on to U-Hoops, because U-Hoops is just, I mean, like I said, it's proof of concept. In 2 months, we've already had a China and Mexico tour, and that's what guys are looking for, is that opportunity to get in front of people.
Yeah. And so the first set of users that went on the site had to pay. And then after that, we realized that it was more about getting a large mass of users to really fine-tune what exactly they wanted. So a lot of the features that will be coming up in that 2.0 version have been finely tuned based on the data we've collected from those 18,000.
Question for you right here.
I get the player profile on the push side. I have a couple questions about the pull side. I'm from Indiana, so high school and college basketball runs in my blood. That would be 5 national championships, thank you. Indiana had 4 guys that graduated. Zeller and Oladipo went in the top 4 of the NBA draft, but the wild thing is I found out a couple weeks ago, 2 of the other guys, one of them signed a professional contract in Malta. I have no freaking idea where that even is. And the other one's going to Poland. First of all, were either of those clients of yours, Jordan Holes or Derek Elston? Just curious. And second of all, how do you get those, frankly, well-paid jobs but minor leagues of professionals to be interested in this? Because it seems like that's where you're going to win. That's where the volume's going to be. It's not in the NBA. Everybody and his dog who knew who Victor Oladipo was, right? Malta has a professional basketball league?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
To answer that question, like our whole drive is to, is for the players who can't make it to the NBA. So DeMarcus walking into it with the initial idea, when he traveled to Barcelona, Spain, he made those connections overseas. He made those connections with our Mexico connection. We have a small, what's it called, abroad team. And those guys are big players in those basketball areas in those different markets. So all we have to do is reach out to them and say, hey, we would like to do a tour, and we have one coming up in Philippines. We just sent out a proposal to him, and he's like, I love it. What do you guys need? And we exchange for it, and then therefore we just kick it off. Because like I said, this right here, if a basketball player ever need a cold glass of water, this is U-Hoops right here, and we're definitely refreshing.
Yeah, it's a lot about the ecosystem around everything below the professional tier. So everything below the NBA, and so there's a part of connecting with all of the foreign teams, but there's also the trainers. There's a lot of careers that are based upon those athletes, and the athletes know nothing about them. For example, dietitians. For nutritionalists, any athletic directors who are looking for positions, for example, a lot of those minor league teams, look for people just by word of mouth, or they'll post on a blog. Yeah, and so it's kind of centralizing everything around basketball underneath the NBA into one place.
One quick question in there in the back, right back.
From a business perspective, scalably, the 4 of you can't manage 50 countries, basketball leagues. How do you guys want to grow? Do you want to sell? What's the concept look like long term?
You got a blank check? No, I'm just kidding. Well, right now, like moving into U-Hoops 2.0, we're launching a internship program at KU, so we're going to be pulling from just a lot of different areas to pretty much help us with the groundwork, so that us 4 can be able to travel more and actually be more hands-on when it comes to solidifying our connections. And then from there, really with our phenomenal advisory board, they're leading us along the way, and we're just like, hey man, what else do we have to do next? And but they're, I guess
there's a lot of people who, like some of the websites we've shown, have been acquired. So Eurobasket was acquired in 2010 for a fairly decent amount. And there's a lot of people in the acquisition phase. It's just a matter of building up that momentum and more the branding. And it's proven fairly easy to get acquired in the space if you build anything that works a little bit.
Okay, great job, guys. So the last question, of course, got a room full of probably 250 plus. What can we do as a community to support what you guys are doing right now?
Today, our Indiegogo launches. So if you go to Indiegogo, just look up U-Hoops. We have plenty of perks from, we have a verbal connection with the CBE, and they've donated tickets to that. We also have a couple of t-shirts signed by Clay Johnson, a Lakers champion as well. So there's plenty of things that you guys can go on there it's going to be fun for you guys to help us pretty much grow a little bit more traction.
And we also have a contract with Reebok, so we will be having Reebok gear for sale soon. So that's a big accomplishment for you at this moment.
And then one other thing you could do is outside, if you know of any companies that would benefit from sponsoring tours, they're always looking for sponsors to face the Mexico team or the Australia team, or any of those kind of local tours, as well as PR connections. They're moving into a space where they want to get beyond word of mouth and really actively accelerate that process. So whether that's mass media, local media, or PR, anything connection-wise would be helpful.
Fantastic. Great job, guys.
Thank you for the time.
Okay. Good job. So wrapping up real quick, a couple reminders. Make sure if you want to find out who's going to be presenting in the weeks coming up, go to 1millioncups.com. If you're interested in presenting, please go there as well and register to fill out that form. Everybody has to fill out that form if you want to present, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Oh, I see you got that. That was good, man. Yeah.